भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Due to limited time and concentration, if one focuses on Gita chapter 2, 9 and 18, would lead to adequate progress towards spiritual growth. I would think so. Gita chapter 2, 9, 18. But limited time and limited concentration, is it something objective or subjective? Meaning that I think that I have limited time and limited concentration, or indeed there is limited time. At least we should have an overall idea of the whole Gita, and then you may focus upon, say, 2 or 3 chapters like this. But not you do not know what is taught in chapter 1, chapter 3, 4, etc. It is desirable that you know what Lord Krishna is teaching in the Bhagavad Gita overall, because there is one consistent theme that Lord Krishna is developing. That's how Bhashyakara Sri Adi Shankaracharya explains. So having generally gained the idea of what Gita teaches overall, you may focus on this chapter 2, 9, 18. Would be quite alright. What is meant by focusing? Would you memorize these chapters? Would they involve part of focusing? Would it involve the meaning of these verses? Focusing involves an explanation of these verses by Bhashyakara. Well, so what depends upon what you mean by focus. But even of these 3 chapters, if you memorize them, understand the meaning so that when you recite those verses in your mind, that the meaning also is followed along with that. And then study the explanation given by the teacher and by Bhashyakara and others. That should be all right, I guess. And yes, the spiritual growth requires relating the teaching to our life. So the focusing on any teaching, whether it's Bhagavad Gita or otherwise, the one aspect is to understand what the teaching is. And the important aspect also is what does it mean to me. Lord Krishna talks to Arjuna, so addresses Arjuna. But Lord Krishna is addressing me, and what does it mean to me? not just as general principle, but as particularly it applies to me. Although this should be the approach towards all that we learn in the class. Because what is important is myself. And therefore, the teaching also is for me. And more we translate the teaching to how it applies to us, more useful it becomes, and more it helps me to apply that in my life, and more it helps the self-growth. So spiritual growth would require focusing upon, let's say, these 3 chapters plus translating the teaching into my understanding, number one, and then translating. So when I understand what it means to me, the next step is, what should I do to make that understanding a reality of my life? So all these steps are involved, and that is the whole idea of the pursuit of knowledge. And yes, it would certainly help you when this teaching is just internalized and understood in light of my own self, my own mind, my own thoughts, desires, etc. Then I will know what I need to do with my mind, what I need to do with my understanding, with my mind, and that's where the transformation has to take place. And that's the purpose of the teaching. The question is that whatever now limited understanding I have of what my true nature is, from that understanding, it becomes clear to me that there is no reason for me to have any fear or anxiety, and that if an aspirant commits himself or herself to the knowledge of the self, the devatas also become helpful. But if it is felt that the devatas are putting obstacles to my pursuit, suppose, then should look upon these obstacles as a test. See, this, when you, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this is being told that devatas do not like this aspirant pursuing the Brahma Vidya. They don't like, because that means that text collection will not take place. If a person pursues Brahma Vidya, knowledge of Brahman, then it is taken for granted that that is the only thing that he does. If he develops sufficient interest, means there is no more performs any rituals. A ritual usually involves making offering to Devata, whether it's a fire ritual or ritual in this manner. So when you stop performing rituals, Devatas cease to get their tax collection. and they don't like it. Therefore, it says this way, that they place obstacles on the path of this mumukshu so that he may be discouraged in pursuit of moksha. So then Bhashyakar explains that this is not to be interpreted to mean that devatas really place obstacles in our life. It is meant to be interpreted that we should acquire the grace of devatas, and that there should be worship of devatas in our life to secure their grace, secure their favor. Because we very much require all the help that we can get in our pursuit. It's not so much the devatas that place obstacles. Our mind is quite adequate to place obstacles in our life. We do not need anybody other than ourselves to place obstacles. And therefore, it's better that we do not associate devatas with obstacles. Devatas should be associated only with grace. And the obstacles are there for whatever reason. The obstacle need not necessarily be a negative thing. The obstacles are quite likely meant to make us stronger. So we had, in school there was a hurdle race. They place hurdles, Why do they do that? Why shouldn't straight away run, to the destination? I was wondering those days, then I understood that they are training you for your life. There's no straight running. There are always hurdles. And therefore, you have to learn to cross them. And that is what makes the whole race a little more interesting also, more exciting. Pujya Swami used to say, there is no play or drama without plots. You go to watch an Indian movie, all kinds of plots. They fight and somebody throws and somebody lives and somebody joins and all kinds of things keep on happening. Now that may be very dramatic, but there cannot be a play without plots. Otherwise you will make a joke. There is a play where there is this young man always getting A grades in school, gold medals, graduate, postgraduate, PhD. He is a research scientist, very highly honored. His wife, also very bright, similarly a gold medalist, also a successful business person. Also, her career is very bright. They have a son, very handsome. Always number one in rank in the school, gold medalist in all tests, winning in all sports events. If this is a play, who will go to watch this? You will watch something when this fellow fails. Not that we like to watch other people's failures, but there has to be some spices in what's going on. So similarly, Devatas put some spice in our life. Not to make the life so that life doesn't become dull. That we have value for, sometimes we don't have value for what we are getting when it's all going easy, when we get what we want. Children get spoiled brats because they get everything that they want. And they don't grow. And so, that we should appreciate what we have, count our blessings, I'm sure there are enough obstacles. Enough curses are there, no doubt about that. But enough blessings are also there. And therefore, rather than focusing upon what obstacles I have, what difficulties I have, well, you may certainly make note of that. At the same time, make sure that you're aware of the blessings that you have. You should count your blessings also. So you don't feel that I'm helpless, that devatas are very powerful. They're all the time controlling me. Devatas don't do that. And you are not a helpless creature either. Don't look at it that way at all. Appreciate the blessing that you have and understand that blessing doesn't come free of charge. No, you must have paid price. You must have already earned a lot of punya to have that blessing. And you require punya to continue every day also. And therefore, don't take things for granted. And therefore, it's a matter of my resolve that I'm going to enjoy what I have. I'm going to make the best of what I have. And if the so-called obstacles come, I would know that they come to make me stronger. Pain comes in our life to make us stronger. No pain, no gain. So, we need not think that pain is a punishment. Pain may be a blessing in disguise. Who knows? And so, give up. No need to have fears, anxieties. What's going to happen? What anxiety? What fear? What is going to happen? Oh, Swami, I may go away. Up. Suppose you do. So, what's the big deal? That's destined, that will happen. What can happen? I don't know. Oh, Swamiji, I may be on the street tomorrow. And then you will learn how to be on the street also. That's how our mind is. There are many people on the street and they know how to live. And so what, Swamiji, what if I lose my job? Suppose you lose your job. So what? Oh, then I may sell my car. Sell your car. Oh, then I have to go to a small apartment. Do that. I can't afford. Then don't use that. But you will survive. You see, the human mind is such that it will learn the art of surviving under any circumstances. Because there are many people already living that way. What we are afraid of is already reality for many, many people. And so, it is this recognition of the blessings I am already enjoying will make me recognize the favor that I already have, and that should create in me the blessing that Ishvara is granting to me. And therefore, I pray. In case of fear, suppose, pray. Bhagavan, I have this fear, something may happen tomorrow. Suppose it may be a genuine thing, I don't know. Then pray. So prayer is the weapon that we have to acquire the grace of Ishvara and to seek the protection. So recognition of the blessings that we have in the present is a way to become free from the worries and anxieties of the future. Swamiji, it is easy for you to say. I would think so, because I was very lucky always. They've had no problems, no time, nowhere. It's likely that I may not appreciate many things that people go through, but the principles is what I'm saying, and I'm sure they're Swamiji told us that the emotion is not prohibited for a sadhaka of Vedanta. That Arjuna should feel affection for his grandfather or his guru is not a crime, not an offense. However, if that love for his grandfather brings about hatred for his guru, something like that, then that is called attachment. If love for one causes hatred for something else, then love doesn't have opposite. Raga has opposite. Attachment is the opposite, called aversion. So then we should examine. Emotions are fine, but maybe the emotion gets a little bit of distorted. Ultimately, what each one of us is nothing but embodiment of love. That's what we are. Either you call it Ananda or love. Because from Ananda the universe has come. In Ananda it is sustained. And same Ananda is translated as love. Atma Sukhamasam Priyam Bhavati. The word Priyam is used. So from the love the universe has come. By the love it is sustained. And so love is fine. That's what we meant, that nothing, and therefore my love expressed to anybody is quite alright. If that love results into hatred for something, that means that love has deteriorated into attachment. Which it does in our, anyway, there are attachments, because we have not paid attention, so a lot of attachments, etc. are there. And that attachment can become quite strong, or it can build up and can become very powerful and can disturb me. So what disturbs me is not love, what disturbs me is my attachment, which is accompanied with aversion. So this pressure of attachment and aversion, that's what makes the emotion intensive. So how can you get Shanti? On one hand we said that Arjuna is quite free to have his feelings for his guru, for his feelings for the grandfather. But if those feelings result into hatred for Duryodhana, then you have to think about those feelings. Love is not a counterpart of hatred. Attachment is the counterpart of hatred, but not love. And so let us, so love nobody can object to, because that's what we are made of. And love does not cause any sadness or unhappiness, doesn't cause any pressure, doesn't cause any storm. It is the attachment that causes the storm. So let us understand our love properly. And it is likely that when we do not pay attention, then it can sort of slip into becoming an attachment, which in most of our case it is so. If you have not paid attention, so a lot of our love has resulted into attachment, which makes me partial to somebody, and therefore cruel to somebody else. So that storm of emotion that is there, it is partiality for somebody or cruelty for somebody. That's the attachment and aversion. And that everybody has. Everybody has this problem of a lot of, I shouldn't say storms, but a lot of things going on in the mind. And that's what Vedanta is meant for. More we understand ourselves, we said yesterday that we should understand the mind. Vedanta means knowledge. And knowledge and understanding. And understanding of yourself also requires understanding of mind. And what is meant by that is, what are my attachments, what are my aversions, or when a given feeling arises, my ability to understand, hey, this is attachment. Some feeling arises, hey, this is aversion. Something arises, hey, this is love. So, this is called understanding our own mind. Understanding the nature of various feelings or emotions that arise. And when I find that emotion is a sort of distorted emotion, then I should work with it. Yesterday we talked about pratipaksha bhavana, etc. Deliberately taking the opposite position. Then just constantly work with the mind. There's a constant thing going on round the clock. So Vedantic student is constantly working in the mind, being alert or awareful about our mind, the thoughts or emotions that arise, understanding what they are, analyzing the cause of it. What is meant by understand the cause of an emotion? Then you can remove the cause to remove the effect. So, and Bhagavad Gita gives us a lot of insight. Vedantic teachers always give these insights. And so that, and if you have a specific situation, you can always go to the teacher, consult, understand them. So how can we welcome our emotions without hatred or fear? Then sometimes I can be afraid of my own mind. My mind may think like this, the mind may get excited, mind may become stormy. You don't have to become afraid of anything. If the mind thinks, give it some time. Let it exhaust itself, and then deal with it. So sometimes mind has a lot of energy in there, let it release. Just let the mind think. Let it release its energy. Then it becomes, you can handle it, then understand what it is and apply our method of pratipaksha bhavana, etc. And number one, we should not brand ourselves. From the nature of mind or emotions, we should not conclude, I am such and such. Oh Swami, I am an angry person. You are not. So we should not brand and judge ourselves. We should be objective to ourselves. This is mind. And that's how, and I have to do something about it. Just because it is mind and I am not my mind does not mean I should not do something about it. That's another thing. I am not my mind. But mind is saying that, and so I am not my body, it's all lip service. So just by declaring I am not the mind doesn't, because mind is saying that. So yes, I am not my mind, but I should understand the mind. And try to create a distance with that mind. And that distance helps us. That is, so witnessing can be called a distance created with the mind. When I understand that feeling or the thought of the mind, then I know what to do, not just stay with being a witness, but then do what is necessary to resolve that feeling, neutralize that feeling. That's how the mind becomes peaceful. And of course prayers are always there, seeking Ishvara's help is always there. That is our privilege. We can tell him, help me. He's supposed to do that. If you are persistent enough, so help is available. It will come. Why the Creator created this world? What's the reason? I just said that this creation is out of love or ananda. You've seen Taittiriya Upanishad. It says, Ananda Devakha Vimani Bhutani Jayante. The chanting has come, is it? Anandena Jatani Jivanti. Anandam Prayante Visamvishanti. That Vijikjnasasva, no. But so Bhrigu says that now he saw this fact that from Ananda alone, wholeness, fullness, this universe has come. So that requires a tremendous objectivity and tremendous separation from the observer and observer. I cannot properly evaluate what I am experiencing if there is an attachment or aversion, some feeling, then I am not objective. If I am really objective, meaning that I can appreciate what is, then Vedanta teaches us that you will find that it is nothing but Ananda. Means nothing but whole, complete. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. So from, I'll come to, yes. So from Ananda it has come. Now Ananda doesn't require a reason. What you do out of happiness doesn't require a reason. Where Swami used to joke, this person, nobody wants to hear him singing, and he knows that. He is under shower and he feels free and he starts singing, That's when he's not self-conscious. Then it just emerges out. So that singing is out of happiness. So what you do out of happiness has no reason. Why do you do that? That's what happiness is. That's what love is. So happiness is, or love is that which does not require a reason to be there, nor does it require a reason for what it does. Because what you do out of happiness will create only happiness. Meaning that there is no reason why the universe is there. Why is it created? When we teach you Manduka Karika, Devasya Svabhavayam Atma Kamasya Spruha. The great teacher says, this is the Svabhava of Deva, of Ishvara. Hey, why do you manifest as the universe? Why not? You know what Svabhava means? The nature. For nature there is no reason. Why is fire hot? Why is fire hot? Or why is sun bright? Why is sugar sweet? That's called Svabhava, for which there is no reason. So why is the universe there? Svabhava of Ishvara. Devasya Svabhavayam. But what was the agenda? No agenda. Atma Kamasya Spruha. When Atma Kama, so one is fulfilled, it doesn't have any reason. Spruha. Meaning that this universe cannot be the creation of Spruha or an agenda. That Ishvara is an agenda and therefore. So this is just a play. Lokavattu, Leela Kaivalyam. Just as you play. Cricket. Why is it 11 players? What is the scientific reason for 11 and not 10, 12? Why is that football or soccer, that ball of that size? I'm sure there must be a reason, but I don't know the reasons. It's just there. So this man donated millions of dollars to build a huge, playground for soccer or baseball, and he was invited to inaugurate it. And after having, he said, "What are you doing? Why don't you give each one? Why are they fighting for one ball? Give them each a ball, That'll solve the problem. Why 22 players in one ball? That's it. Why 11 players? That's it. I don't know. Why is there 22 yards in that pitch? What's the length? 22 yards. Well, why not 21.5? Why not? There are 3 stems. Why 3 stumps, not 4? So you don't understand. That's how it is. So just as play has no reason, Swabhava has no reason, people have scratched their heads to find out reasons for why the creation is, and Gaudapadacharya gives several reasons there and doesn't come with any satisfaction of the explanation. Meaning there is no reason. Vedantins have a nice expression, anirvachaniya. Means you cannot say it is so and so. For mithya, what reason can there be? Why is there a snake on the rope? Why does the rope look like snake? People have scratched their heads, to explain this. That we learn. But then ultimately, no satisfactory reason can be found out. Does it make Vedantin frustrated? Does he get frustrated? You can't explain something? He says, no, if you cannot explain, that is good. That's good news. That means it is mithya. If you can explain, then it becomes satyam. That you cannot explain something, means it is mithya. Good, it has to be mithya. Then only non-duality can be real, isn't it? So, why the Creator created this world? What's the reason? No reason. I know that's a very frustrating answer. Because when this world is a big problem to me and I want some kind of an explanation, why is it there? Who made it? Why did it do this? So that I can find some reason for my frustration. Basically that's what it is. These questions come from frustrations. I don't find any reason, so we must blame somebody. Now, who created this? Who did this? Who made this mess? That is his nature, to make mess, I guess. To give us some agenda, to do something. Otherwise, why should we be born? So rather than wasting time with trying to find out the cause of things, deal with what is. That's the reason why I say there is no explanation, so that you do not waste your time and energy in trying to find an explanation, and rather spend your time, energy in dealing with what is bothering you. Suppose you find the cause, so what will happen? I am frustrated. Suppose you find the cause, will it remove the frustration? No. Will it solve the problem? We think that if we find the cause, the problem will not be solved. Problem will remain. So Gautam Buddha said that when you are stuck with an arrow, don't ask this question, where did it come from? What is the matter of which the arrow is made? What kind of poison is it? Don't waste your time. Pull out the arrow, treat it. But then, we don't have an answer of why. Even science also doesn't explain why. We can only explain what. Because suppose you get why, so what? One why then leads to another why. That leads to a third why. And there are so many defects also they will explain to you. All kinds of logical defects are there. And so, why is the world there? It is Ishvara's great. And if I accept it, then I'll find it's a beautiful thing. It's nothing but full of miracles, isn't it? What is in the universe is just nothing but miracle. If you have time and leisure, I take rounds on the Ganga, but I have no time to look at the Ganga. My mind is going on someplace else. The poor thing is following there, the mountains are there, everything is there. I just don't have the leisure of mind. This Ganga makes a lot of noise, this Ganga. Doesn't let me sleep. So anything can become a problem. Not because there is a problem, the problem is here. But otherwise, everything lends itself to be enjoyed if we can create a distance or be objective. So, the whole universe is of Ananda. So it's meant for Ananda. When we get Ananda, that means that we are really objective. But so we work in that direction. So that takes care of all the questions. And I forgot yesterday, I will conclude with one bhajan. So I hope you will all repeat after me.